From AI that knows your shopping habits better than you do, to browsing shelves at your own pace at a completely unstaffed store. The way we shop both online and offline is changing. But in our drive to make things more personalized, are we missing out on the personal? I'm Izzy Wells, and this is Connected on TaiwanPlus. To help us break down how we can expect to see the retail industry unfold over the next few years, we're joined by Kate Ancketill, CEO and founder of GDR Creative Intelligence, a retail trend consultancy from London. Welcome to the show, Kate.
Thank you.
So, Kate, you advise brands on what's coming next. What would you say the biggest factor is that's influencing retail right now?
Well, without question, it's the artificial intelligence issue that is affecting retail hugely. And it's both an enormous opportunity and also a very big challenge, one that absolutely every large retailer on the planet is currently grappling with.
So let's talk more about AI. I mean, it is transforming industries across the board, but how do you see it changing the retail space specifically over the next 3 to 5 years?
Well, it's absolutely huge and it's integral to everything. I mean, it's certainly massively improving operations, which are so important for retail. Retail operates at very tight margins, particularly in things like grocery. And, we haven't had a huge amount of productivity growth, particularly in the West in the last few years. And so the big hope, of course, is that AI will be that productivity growth, particularly with improving logistics, making the supply chain more efficient, making the operational back end more perfected to the actual needs of the consumer so that you have less waste, less time spent creating products that people don't actually buy in the end, therefore less product on sale, fewer returns. I mean, the opportunities are enormous for AI to be used on that back end.
And we're going to touch a little bit more on the opportunities in a second, but let's first of all talk about customer service. So do you think AI can ever match or even surpass the empathy of a human shop assistant?
I think that is the big question, isn't it? I mean, I personally think that as we enter the AI era, people are going to seek human connection more and more because we will live just such digital lives. We're already living fairly atomized lives. And, the younger generation is the loneliest generation that's ever existed. Loneliness, anxiety, depression kind of seems to go with social media and the digitally oriented lives that young people lead. So I do think that we're seeing a massive opportunity for physical retail to have that resurgence because it is the place where you actually go to see real people, both the store associates who are hopefully knowledgeable about their product, but also to meet your friends and other members of the real human community. Having said that, though, it is certainly true that the very best AI kind of led bots, which is basically a large language model, probably with a custom GPT so that it's vertically trained within a specific subset of data, is probably more knowledgeable than the average store associate. So I would suggest the future, the near-term future, and it's already here in many respects, is to have AI-powered human store associates and human advisors and stylists and people that you can encounter in the real world, but they will be AI enhanced in terms of their own knowledge.
Can you go into a little bit more about what that will kind of look like if you went to the store and how they would utilize that?
Well, for example, nobody wants to go to a store and find that the store doesn't have their item that they're interested in their size or in their color or whatever. Or nobody wants to go to a supermarket and ask a store associate, does this product have, high level of sugar or fat? What you want is a store associate that has a device on their person. They can just say, yep, I can get that answer for you straight away. Is it in stock? No, but I can get it to you within half an hour at this address. I can send it to you via a drone, or I can send it via a bike or some other kind of carrier. You want to know that they are fully aware of their inventory, that they understand you as a customer, as a unique human being, that they can talk to you in a way that is appropriate to you, and that they can, sort of serve you in the way that you used to have, I suppose, in an older era where people were probably a bit more expert in the subject matter of the products that they were selling. So I think, having an assistive device which is connected to a large language model, giving that associate all of that knowledge of the complexity of how to get products to consumers in the fastest way is absolutely the way that we're going to see retail going.
Well, I'm excited for that. And you did speak about how still having that kind of human connection, when you go to the store and you see people that's with friends and family. But is there another side of it where do you ever see it being that maybe some people would actually rather just not have to interact with a real person and can go via AI?
Yes, there's definitely a division according to demographics and age. So older people do tend to prefer to speak to real human beings. And we're seeing in places like the Netherlands, stores like Jumbo supermarkets creating slow checkouts where, they are designed for people to have a little bit of a chat with the checkout person, because maybe they're lonely or maybe retired. Maybe it's the only chat they have during the day. And we have a much higher uptake, for example, amongst the young with things like self-checkout, where you don't have to talk to anyone, you do it yourself and you get out. The problem, though, with that is that in the West in particular, there is a much higher shrinkage level, which is basically theft from self-checkout or spaces which are not as monitored by human beings. And this is a major problem both in Europe and the US, particularly in this sort of time of economic difficulty. Lots of people are suffering from the cost of living crisis, and basically they are swiping goods, particularly in grocery, particularly through self-checkout. And so that's become such an enormous problem that, again, AI is being deployed in order to try and counter that.
And we're going to get into what our future kind of shopping experience could be looking like in the future, because it could be looking very different. And we can see that firsthand at a Mujino Furugia, an unstaffed clothing store in Taipei. I actually spoke to the store owner, Issei Saito, who runs 65 unstaffed businesses in Japan. I asked him why he thought this idea would work in Taiwan.
Because I think the Japan and Taiwan is a little bit similar culture. I know that Taiwanese people is they're polite and honest and kind, and maybe it will work in Taiwan the same way in Japan.
So you opened this shop in 2024. What's been the reception like so far?
Maybe it's the good reaction in Taiwan. Sometimes I came here and a lot of people is saying, "Oh, it's cool. It's a nice store." It's good reaction for me, yeah.
Okay, I'd like to try it out, and I may have a few questions for you.
Sure.
So I've been meaning to buy some shorts. I like the look of these. Would you show me how it works?
Sure. So first, you check the price. The price is on the tag, and choose the price on the cashier.
So it's all based on trust?
Yes, sure. And this is $700 per case.
Okay, and then I can use Line Pay, use my card.
Yeah.
So it's pretty straightforward.
Yeah, very easy. Yeah, easy to understand.
Kate, have you ever been to a completely unstaffed store? What's your take on this concept?
Well, of course, I've been to sort of Amazon Go type stores where you just pick things off the shelves and you just walk straight out because the system recognizes your kind of connected payment system through your card and your Amazon membership and so on. Although those haven't actually really worked and they haven't rolled those out. So I kind of look at that example that you showed and I just feel such nostalgia. And it just looks so adorable that it's sort of from a past era. In the West, unfortunately, people are just not as polite. Not all of them, of course, but a significant minority. They're not as law-abiding. They cannot be trusted not to just steal stuff. So it just, unfortunately, I think in most urban areas in the West, that just could not work because people will just steal everything in the shop. I think I've seen unstaffed grocery stores and convenience stores in the more kind of law-abiding countries, like Scandinavia, for example, and particularly in rural areas where, these are sort of large kiosks, or they're sort of like mobile units that you let yourself in with your credit card, take what you want off the shelf and then pay for it on the way out. And that's for farming communities. They're relatively kind of trustworthy. It's just so quaint and so adorable, but unfortunately it just would not work.
Yeah, that was also my initial reaction when I went. Like, I loved it, but I did think this would not work in London. But if if you had the choice of like an unstaffed store or having a store assistant, what would you personally choose?
I personally would choose to have a store assistant. I mean, I think that women feel safer. Women do a lot of the shopping. They feel safer with a person, just in case something went wrong. There's always things that can go wrong in any public place. And I think human beings are, great to have around to interact with and to take action if anything goes wrong. I mean, of course, as we see demographic change, and we're already seeing great pressure in finding people that want to work in retail. It's not necessarily everybody's kind of long-term choice for a career. It can be obviously minimum wage and so on, and can be long hours. And so we are seeing a difficulty in recruitment. And therefore, there's no question that we are going to see more automation, whether we like it or not, whether the retailers themselves would prefer that. They may not prefer it in terms of their brand and their kind of ethics and so on. But I suspect the world is just moving in such a way that we will have to have more robots.